All right, you guys, we are going to go over the Chapter 9 review odds. So let's start on number 1. Number 1 is talking about a dilation, and it's saying, by the way, this point at the bottom is supposed to be labeled B prime. It kind of got cut off. So we want the image of ABC, which is the A prime, B prime, C prime, but only part of that triangle is shown, and we want to find the scale factor of the dilation. So that means I want to know, hey, what is the new figure's dimensions over the old? So I want the primes over the old. So that means since they've given us A prime to B prime, let's figure out the change or the slope between this, because the slope is what's going to tell us what changed. So to get from A prime to B prime, that means I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a change of 6. And I'm going over 1, 2, 3, which is a change of 3. And so if I look at the original A went down 2 and over 1. So if I pull corresponding dimensions, let's say we choose the -6 and the -2. The new number is -6. The old number is -2. This scale factor reduces to a +3. So that means that the new figure is 3 times as big as the old figure. So now I need to find the ordered pair for C prime, which means I'm going to follow that same change. And I'm going to see what the change was from A to C, see the slope, and then I want to triple that. So from A to C, I'm moving right 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1. So I want to go 3 times that amount because that's my scale factor. So instead of going right 4, I'm going to go right 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which puts me here, but instead of going down 1, I want to go down 3 times that amount, which would be down 3. So then my C prime would be that ordered pair right there, which comes out to 1, 2, 7, -4. All right, so look at number 3. Number 3 gives us our triangle ABC, and they want us to graph the image A prime, B prime, C prime with a dilation from the center 0, 0, which we'll always do, and then scale factor of 1/2. So that means all of my dimensions need to be half the size of this, and then I want to graph it. So I want to take half of each piece of the ordered pair. So my A prime, half of 8 would give me 4, and half of 4 would give me 2. For my B prime, half of -8 would give me a -4, and half of -2 would give me -1. And then for C prime, half of 2 would give me 1, and half of -6 would give me a -3. So the points that I want to graph are my primes. So then I'm going to put A prime at 1, 2, 3, 4, +2, and label it A prime. Make sure you have your apostrophes there. And then B prime is at -4, -1, which will be here. And C prime would be at 1, -3, which comes in there. And anytime you graph your points, make sure you connect them to form the original shape, which in this case is a triangle. Make sure y'all are reading the directions very clearly, because a lot of times the graph is just there to help you figure out your answers, but on certain problems, your points are going to come from the directions telling you to graph it, so make sure you have ordered pair answers and the graph on those particular ones. All right, number 5 got mislabeled on my picture, but your top point should be B, the right point should be C, and the bottom point should be A. And they want us to reflect across the reflect across the y-axis Y-axis is this line right here. And if I want to reflect across that, that means I want to be the same distance on one side as I am on the other side originally. So for example, C doesn't move at all because it is on the line of symmetry. So if I flip this triangle, C prime is in that exact same spot. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that ordered pair. That's the ordered pair 0, positive 3 as my answer because it doesn't move at all. But for A is 1, 2, 3 units away from my line on the left side. So I want to go 3 units to the right side and put a point. And we'll call that A prime. And that comes out to the ordered pair 3, negative 1. And then B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units from the left side. So we want to go 5 units to the right side. And that would put our B prime at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. And since we started with a triangle, I'm going to go ahead and reconnect it just to double check that I have graphed it correctly. Because if you get a weird shape, you did something wrong. And this shape looks like that one, but it's been reflected across there. So I think I'm in good shape. All right, suddenly it turns to number 16, but we're still doing odds. So we'll go to 17. Number 17 wants us to take triangle ABC, which they've given us the original coordinates of, and identify the location, aka find the ordered pairs of A, B, and C under the translation x plus 5, y minus 7. This means, when I read this, it means take the original x value and add 5 to it, and take the original y value and subtract 7 from it. So for A, it started at negative 5, and if I add 5 to that, that's going to put me at 0. And for the y value, I started at 6. When I take 6 and subtract 7, I'm going to be put at a negative 1. And you guys use your calculator for this. This is simple math, but it's also simple to make a mistake on just by counting and stuff like that. So double check your answers because this isn't going to be a very long quiz or test. Review and test. B is at negative 4, 0. So I'm going to take the x value of negative 4 and add 5 to that, which would put me at 1. And then I'm going to take the y value of 0 and subtract 7, which would put me at negative 7. So B prime is 1, negative 7. And then C is an x value of negative 2. When I add 5 to that, that puts me at 3. And a y value of 4 subtracting 7 puts me at negative 3. This one just says identify the location. It does not mean graph. So we don't have to graph on this one unless you chose to graph by plotting your original points and subtracting or adding 5 to the x and then going down 7. You can do that too to figure out your answers, but they just cared about the ordered pairs. All right, number 19. My picture got messed up on this one too, but it should be labeled like this. The top left is Q, and then around to the right is P, N, and then M. So number 19 has us doing 4 things. All right, so we want to use the figure, and we want to figure out which transformation creates an image with a vertex at the origin. So I'm kind of guessing and checking here and figuring out which option gives me that. If I rotate the figure MNPQ 90 degrees around M, that means that M is my center, and rotating Q 90 degrees would put it to the left. So instead of up above M, it is to above originally, so we want to move it to the left. So that would be Q prime. And then P was originally 4 right up 2, so now we want to go 4 up right 2, which would be P prime. And then M was originally 4 right over 0, so we want to go 4 up over 0. And none of those points would put us at the origin. So I'm going to cross off A. Part B says reflect figure M and PQ across line x equals 1. Well, if I find x equals 1, that is a vertical line at 1. If I flip my picture, this bolded rectangle, across to the other side, those points are already away from the origin. They're never going to line up. They're all going to be kind of in this area. So I'm automatically going to cross off B because that's not going to get me in. C has me reflecting across the line y equals about 2.5. Y equals is a horizontal line. 2.5 is about halfway between 2 and 3, so somewhere in there. And if I reflect across that, it's going to put it below the line. But here's the deal. They're still not close enough to 0 to be able to do that. So if you're just flipping below, you're just changing the x values, but you're not scooting it over at all. So I would cross off C as well. D has to be my answer, but let's just double check. It says we want to translate the figure 6 left. So let's take an ordered pair. Let's say M. Move it left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would put M prime right there. But just because it doesn't work for one point doesn't mean it's going to not work for the other. So let's check Q. Q moving left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puts Q prime there. N moving left 6 and down 5 puts N right at the origin, which is exactly what we were wanting. So I would totally say that D works. P prime would have ended up there. So that automatically works. If some of these multiple choice are hard for you to figure out, go to one of the easier ones. Translations are easy, one of the easier transformations to do. Check that first, and then go to the more difficult ones. You might be able to eliminate answers a lot quicker or find your answer a lot quicker. All right, last one we're going to work is number 21. My triangle was not labeled, so make sure you put the correct labels. We're putting F as that left point, then E on top and D on bottom. And we want to rotate 180 degrees. This should be about the origin. Okay, so there are two ways to do this. One of them is to use the rule, which is take your original point A, comma B, and take the opposite sign of each. So sometimes it helps to write the original ordered pairs above first to figure out what those are going to be. F is originally at D is originally at negative 3, 0. E is originally at negative 3, 4. And F is originally at negative 7, 2. So using my rule, I would take the opposite of each number. Opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. Opposite of 0 is just 0. You can't take a negative 0. And then E prime would be the opposite of a negative 3, which is positive 3. Opposite of positive 4, which would be negative 4. And then F prime would be opposite of negative 7, which is 7, and opposite of positive 2, which is negative 2. So this row right here would be my answer. The other way to do it is I'm rotating 180 degrees, so I'm physically turning my paper upside down, which is 180 degrees, and then I'm figuring out what my ordered pairs are based on starting from scratch, calling this X and Y axis. So D would be 1, 2, 3 to the right, which is a positive 3x, and then up 0. F would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right 7 and down 2 is a positive 7, negative 2 ordered pair. And E would be right 3, down 4, which would be positive 3, negative 4. So both ways work. If you're going to rotate your paper, just make sure you rotate to the left. So like a quarter of a turn is 90-degree rotation. Another quarter of a turn is 180, and another quarter of a turn would be 360. But 270. Either way, make sure you're starting from scratch on your ordered pairs so that you don't mess up just from counting it.